Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So we're going to do our November daily, and I just quickly threw together a journal for November because I found out that Priscilla from Release the Craftin' was doing her poetry prompts, which I thoroughly enjoyed last year. So, oh, and don't mind my hands, they're stained from crafting. So I quickly threw together this journal. The only thing I purchased to make this journal was his fabric because I was in Hobby Lobby and I was like, ooh, that's super cute. But for the rest of my journal, I'm going to try and use things in my stash and try not to use my Cricut because I pretty much exclusively used my Cricut last month. So I did the first week's prompts, and let's just take a look. Here's the inside of my journal. I have made a pocket to keep the future prompts. The November Poetry Challenge hashtag is hashtag RTC POETRY 22. So Release the Craftin' Poetry 22. And let's just jump right in. So here is my week 1 title page. It tells the prompts: permission, riot, freedom, isolation, and pick a deity. So I'm trying to, as I said, particularly use washi tapes because I have a lot of washi tape. I buy a lot of washi tape. I buy a lot of washi stickers and very rarely use them. So that's going to be my main focus, I think, for this particular journal. So here is my first spread and my first poem. The prompt was permission. So, permission. As a child, I reviled the denial of consent. If denied, I would carp till my parents would relent. Internal celebration for allowance or green light, though in retrospect the outcome was quite trite. Whining and cajoling for hours without end, just to have a sleepover with a bestie friend. Now I look back at the allowance that I won, and sometimes I wonder if that's what made it fun. So that is my poem for prompt number 1 for permission. And here's my layout. Prompt number 2 was riot. Now I did not want it to be like a physical riot. I found that troubling. So I did riot of color. And here's the back of my tag. I used a lot of washies to make a riot of color. My poem. A riot of color, can you say it any other way? Whether florals, paint, or other, making such lavish display. When something is described in such glowing terms, it creates a feeling that the heart confirms. Disorderly profusion of patterns or of shape, often so much beauty it leaves my mouth agape. Though colorful abundance is not my usual choice, on the odd occasion it does make me rejoice. So that was my poem for riot, in my case, riot of color. And here is my spread. Prompt number 3 was freedom. Freedom. Birds flight through the air, wind blowing your hair, binding chains broken, love without token, unfettered belief, breeze dancing on leaves, waves rushing to shore, a wide open door, childhood laughter peals, how freedom feels. And then freedom reminded me of travel, so I kind of used some travel motifs in my spread. Isolation. This one was difficult for me. I find that words with, I guess, a negative connotation are difficult for me. But, yeah, because I work at a hospital, isolation kind of reminded me of quarantine, I guess. So I used a sciencey theme and just used rubber stamps, which I have tons of and frequently don't use, and stickers from Sticky Club. So here's my poem. Isolation. The sequestration of isolation causes the attitude of solitude, when privateness leads to righteousness, lonely with you and you only. Just for a moment, loose your detachment, free from the separateness of your reclusiveness. Released from quarantine, the world looks pristine. And that was my poem on isolation. And then the last poem for this week was Pick a Deity. I picked the goddess, so Maiden Mother Crone, from birth to when time has flown, the stages of a life, new babe to an old wife. Like seasons of a year, our time upon this sphere, then our time is done, and the last hour has begun. And again, I used some stickers from Sticky Club, right? So that concludes my layout for week 1. And I hope you guys do the challenge too. I know Alina Spicer is doing it. She tagged me on her channel. And if you do it, make sure you use the hashtag so I can check out your stuff too. And I appreciate your time. I hope you're having a great weekend. Be kind to one another. Have a great next week. Love ya. Bye.